Today's tech news moves fast, but understanding it shouldn't be hard. That's why Snarful Solutions Group brings you Connecting the Dots, where we break down what's happening in tech and why it matters to you. Now, let's dive in with your hosts.
Good morning, and welcome back to Connecting the Dots. I'm Alex, ready to help you navigate the chaos of the technology world.
And I'm Mergen, here to provide the context.
Happy Wednesday, and happy December 24th, 2025.
Right. A time of year when things usually slow down, but not in tech. It feels like everything is hitting the accelerator.
It really does. We have a lot to get through today.
We do.
But first, let's get grounded. Especially for our listeners here in Sacramento and right across California, we have to talk about this weather.
Yeah, you can't ignore it. It's a major system. What meteorologists call an atmospheric river is just, well, slamming the West Coast.
Which is basically a giant fire hose of moisture from the Pacific.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And it is dumping a ton of rain.
So the LA Basin is getting hit the hardest right now.
Exactly. We're seeing some pretty serious concerns for flash flooding, urban flooding, all across Southern California today. So if you're down there, you should be really careful on the roads.
And if you were thinking of a holiday trip over the Sierra Nevada mountains, maybe don't.
Yeah, I would genuinely reconsider. The Sierra is getting feet of snow, not inches, and some really high winds. Those mountain passes are going to be incredibly difficult, if not just impossible.
So check Caltrans before you even think about it.
Please do.
Okay. So from messy weather to some much calmer money markets, it looks like that positive momentum is holding strong to close out the year.
It is. The rally is continuing. The Dow Jones closed yesterday at 48,558.84.
That's a solid daily gain of 0.28%.
A very solid gain. And the broader market, the S&P 500, followed right along. It closed up 0.14% at 6,914.78.
So traditional markets feel pretty robust.
They do. The only real volatility, and this is pretty common lately, is in crypto. Bitcoin saw a little dip.
Just a little one.
Yeah, down about 0.70%, closing at 86,821.22. But, overall, it's a remarkably positive picture heading into the holidays.
A strong note to end on. Now, before we get into the Morningstar Report, we want to thank our sponsor, Old Glory.
If you're doing any last-minute holiday shopping and you have that one techie friend who's impossible to buy for, Old Glory is your place.
It's an iconic music and sports fan merch store. They seriously have something for everyone.
And they're offering a great deal for our listeners. If you use the promo code SNARFUL, that's SNARFUL, you'll get 15% off your entire purchase.
You can check out their huge selection at oldglory.com. All right, let's jump in. We're looking at the three biggest tech stories of the morning, and we're covering everything from, AI becoming your app store to a new space race happening right above our heads.
Let's start with that first one. A huge announcement from OpenAI's Dev Day 2025. The chat window is no longer just for chatting.
It's basically an app store now.
It's a total foundational shift. I mean, for years, ChatGPT has been about conversation. You talk to it, it talks back. But it's clear the vision now is to make it a real digital assistant.
Something that actually does things, not just talks about them.
Exactly. To make you, as CEO Sam Altman put it, more productive, more inventive, to learn faster. And they're doing that by pulling third-party apps directly into the chat.
And we're talking about big names here. Spotify, Zillow, Canva, Expedia.
Figma, Coursera, Booking.com. The list goes on. And the key is, you never leave the chat window.
Right. It's not just a link that sends you somewhere else. It happens right there.
It's full integration. So you can just type, Coursera, teach me about machine learning, and the app experience just starts.
Or like in that demo, Figma, turn this sketch into a workable diagram. And it just does it right there in front of you.
The Zillow demo was the one that really got me. You ask it to find apartments, and instead of a list of text,
an interactive map just pops up.
A fully interactive map. You can zoom, you can click, you can keep talking to the AI to filter the results. It's a whole new level of interaction.
So how does that even work, technically?
It's a new system they call the Model Context Protocol, or MCP. Think of it less like an old API that just shuffles data back and forth, and more like embedding a tiny working website inside a text bubble.
Wow.
It lets the app render a full UI, even video, right inside the chat. It turns the AI from a simple tool into a real platform.
And here's where it gets a little wild for everyday life, this idea of contextual surfacing.
Right. The AI won't always wait for you to call up an app by name.
So if I type, I need a playlist for a party, Spotify just appears.
That's the idea. And they're saying DoorDash, Uber, and Instacart are coming soon. Imagine planning a dinner and having the delivery options just show up in the conversation.
Okay, but that brings up the business side of this. OpenAI has, 800 million weekly users. They're on track for $13 billion in revenue, but their costs are insane.
Astronomical. They have to make money. And being the front door to all these other services, maybe taking a cut through something like an instant checkout, that's the fastest way there.
But doesn't that immediately create a competition problem? How does ChatGPT choose between DoorDash and, say, Instacart?
That is the billion-dollar question, isn't it? They'll say it's about the best user experience, but you have to imagine companies will eventually pay to be the default choice.
So AI optimization becomes the new SEO.
It's the new battleground.
Yeah.
And what about the privacy? If I'm chatting with Zillow inside ChatGPT, how much of my other conversations does Zillow get to see?
Right. If I was just talking about my salary, does Zillow now know that?
That's the part that needs some serious scrutiny. The AI needs context to work, but sharing that context with all these third-party companies is it's a huge leap in how much of our data is being shared.
That is a massive story. Okay, let's move from the digital world up into the atmosphere. Our second story is about a literal space race.
This is a really fascinating play by AST Space Mobile. They're going head-to-head with players like SpaceX, but with a totally different approach to satellite internet.
They just launched something called Bluebird 6, and the scale of this thing is just incredible.
It is genuinely enormous, and its size is the whole point. What they're building is a space-based cellular network that connects directly to a normal standard smartphone.
The one that's in your pocket right now.
Exactly. No special dish, no bulky antenna, no satellite phone. The goal is just to make your current phone work everywhere.
To finally kill the dead zone.
That's the mission. But your phone's antenna is tiny. It's made to talk to a cell tower a few miles away, to get it to talk to a satellite hundreds of miles up in space.
The satellite needs a really, really big ear.
A very big ear. And that's Bluebird 6. It has the largest commercial phased array ever put in low Earth orbit. We're talking nearly 2,400 square feet.
2,400 square feet. That's the size of a house, unfurling in space.
It's a technical marvel. And it acts like a giant orbiting cell tower that's powerful enough to hear all those little weak phone signals from down on Earth.
So it's an ambitious plan. What's their timeline for actually getting this up and running?
They're moving incredibly fast. They're planning 5 more orbital launches by the end of the first quarter of 2026.
Wow.
And they're aiming to have 45 to 60 of these satellites up by the end of 2026. That would be enough for continuous coverage across the U.S. and a few other markets.
That is an aggressive schedule. But we have to talk about the money, right? These space ventures are famously expensive.
And that's the tightrope they're walking. The launch news gave the stock a little bump, which shows investors are optimistic about the tech. But the company is still burning through cash. They just missed their Q3 revenue targets and reported a bigger loss than Wall Street was expecting.
So it's a classic growth story. They're betting big on the future, but they have to survive the present. It's a high-wire act.
A very high-wire act. Every single one of these launches has to go perfectly to keep that investor confidence high.
Okay, from the future of connectivity in space, let's come back to a regulatory fight on the ground. Our third story. Italy versus Meta over WhatsApp.
And this gets to a really core question for the AI era. Can a company that owns a dominant platform, like a messaging app everyone uses, use that power to favor its own AI?
And Italy's antitrust regulator thinks the answer is a clear no.
They do. They've ordered Meta to immediately suspend new terms that would block rival AI chatbots from using WhatsApp.
So what did Meta actually do to trigger this?
Back in October, they updated their terms for the WhatsApp business solution. And the new rule basically said if your main business is offering an AI service, you can't use our platform.
Wow, that's pretty direct.
Very direct. And regulators see that as pure abuse of power. I mean, in Italy, over 37 million people use WhatsApp. It's essential for business.
So by blocking competitors, Meta is essentially forcing businesses to use its own Meta AI.
That's the argument, that it completely distorts the competition in this brand new AI chatbot market before it even gets off the ground.
What's Meta's side of the story? What's their defense?
Meta is saying the ruling is fundamentally flawed. They're making a technical argument. They claim the WhatsApp Business API was just never built for this kind of traffic from general AI chatbots.
So they're saying it would strain their systems.
Right. They're framing it as a stability and system integrity issue, not a competition issue.
So Meta says, we're protecting our platform. And the regulators are hearing, you're protecting your monopoly.
That's the conflict right there. And the stakes here are enormous. If Meta is found to be abusing its dominant position under EU rules, the fine could be massive.
How massive are we talking?
Up to 10% of its global turnover.
10% of their worldwide revenue.
Yep. Based on their 2024 numbers, that could be a fine of over $16.4 billion.
That's a number that gets your attention.
It's a number that forces companies to completely rethink their strategy.
Yeah.
It shows you just how seriously Europe is taking this.
Before we wrap things up, we need to thank our second sponsor, Scony.
Scony is the place for premium golf shoes. If you're serious about your game, or even if you just want to look good and be comfortable on the course, they have amazing quality.
And just for you, you can use our promo code SNARFUL, that's SNARFUL, at checkout.
And that will get you 15% off your entire purchase.
You can find those high-performance shoes at skony.com, that's skoni.com. Okay, so let's do a quick recap. 3 huge stories today. First, ChatGPT is no longer just a chatbot, it's becoming an integrated application hub.
Changing how we interact with everything from Spotify to Zillow.
Second, the space race is heating up with AST SpaceMobile's giant Bluebird 6 satellite, a 2,400 square foot marvel designed to bring cell service to your standard phone everywhere.
A direct shot at eliminating connectivity gaps across the globe.
And finally, a big regulatory showdown in Europe. Meta is facing serious heat for allegedly using WhatsApp's dominance to shut out competing AI chatbots.
The big theme connecting all this is really about building new infrastructure, isn't it? AI is becoming the new digital middle layer for everything, while things like the Bluebird satellites are rewriting the physical infrastructure of the planet.
You know, thinking about that Bluebird satellite, it makes you wonder, how long until that kind of space-based service isn't just a backup for when you're hiking?
But the main way we communicate.
Exactly. When does the cell tower on the ground just become obsolete?
That is a fascinating thought to chew on.
We're here to help at Snarful, so reach out on our website if you have any more questions.
That's a wrap on today's top stories. Remember, tech doesn't have to be complicated, and we're here to help connect the dots. If you've got questions or want to learn more, visit us at snarful.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.